Hey guys, Joe here. Well, I'm going to demonstrate on ways I make a fire. I'm going to go from basically all the way from, primitive to modern ways of making a fire. I'm going to start out with demonstrating, showing how I do the hand drill, bow drill, flint and steel, matches, lighter, and then finally the metal match, or known as a zirconium rod or blast match. So, well, here we go. Alright, well, I got my hand drill kit. I'm sure you've seen it done before when I did that little demo, but I'm going to go into a little bit more in-depth detail of, how I get it going. So, I have my little bandana here. I'm going to put it on the ground here to, keep the moisture off of it. Here, so let me show you. Here. Here's the holes that I've drilled through. This one's not completely drilled through, but I'm not going to demonstrate that. I'm going to show exactly from beginning to end. So this is one of the things I do, is I'll get it like completely flush right here and just do slight kind of a quarter of a turn until it comes out to, oh, say about here. But like right about here, maybe a little bit closer to the edge here. I don't want to get it too close because otherwise it's just going to hop on out and it gets real annoying. So I'm going to take my knife here and I'm going to make a kind of a indentation hole. So that way the spindle could just sit in there nicely without it skittering all over the place. Also, one of the things I like to do is flatten it out, and that way it won't like kind of drift this way, drift that way, this way, whatever. Just you want it to go exactly where it wants to go. Now, the materials I'm using is a piece of mullein. When I lived back east, my favorite hand drill was goldenrod, believe it or not. I basically got about thick as my pinky finger, and I usually harvest it right before it completely dried out. Let it dry out for a little bit, and then use it. The board here is a piece of yucca. I found a nice good piece of yucca and just kind of split it. Shaved it down a bit so it's nice, fairly flat. You could also use cottonwood, mullein. Some people have used mullein. I haven't had that much good luck. Yucca on yucca. See here. Cottonwood, maple, I believe I already said. Cedar. Basically is, I don't like to get into the names too much, but what I like to do is test the wood by the thumbnail test. If it digs in nicely, like so, it'll be pretty good. You don't want it to go in too easy, otherwise it's just going to drill right through and you're not going to get it cold. Same thing is with if it's too hard, you try pushing in, your thumbnail shatters. It's a little bit too hard. So let me demonstrate here on how I get a hole going. Bah. Okay, next step is placement. Yeah, there are videos out there of people who do hand drills and everything. Some people like to do it kneeling, like so. I've done that before. Where they go like this. I just prefer conservation of energy. Like so. And just basically use my foot just to rest on top of the board to keep it from sliding. And that way I can just, use my body weight. Of course, you use your body weight a lot more when you're kneeling like this, but I prefer it like this. A little advice too is if you're wearing rings, especially those of us who are married, take it off. The reason why is sometimes your skin will get caught right here when you're going at it, and you get a nice, wonderful pinch. It hurts. but yet you don't dare stop. I did that one time and had a nice, wonderful blood blister. So let's get this going here. One thing I do is check the spindle. It has a little bit of shine on it. So I'm just going to take that off, because if you have that too much of a shine, it sort of acts as a lubricant and it won't catch, basically, so to speak. Hi. Yes, I know. Back away, back away. Good girl. So, with that said, is one thing, you know, some people, when I first started out, I just went like this, you know, all out. Had huge blisters on my palms, and sometimes I got a cold, sometimes I didn't. But I learned a technique for starting it out, is you just go like this, rock your hands back and forth, kind of just heat it up, get the friction going. And just slowly walk it on down. And then when it starts catching, you notice I'm not really going all out. I'm trying to use all my fingers and palms. And sometimes, you know, moisture, body oils, or something like you had fried chicken for lunch, and you touch the tip of your drill, and you get kind of a glazing, which will just spin and not produce anything. Here we go. Have my firewood here to keep the drill off the ground. So, as you can see, we've got the start of a hole here. So I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to cut the notch out. Or you could use a rock like this. Swiss Army knife. I love the Swiss Army knife, the saw. So okay. Once you get your notch cut out, you're going to want to take it and kind of skim the inside a bit with your blade. That way we remove any little hairs, splinters. That'll catch the coal, and if you try to get it out, it's going to catch it and rip it apart, and, well, you'll be annoyed. Here we go. Here's the notch. And as you can see, it went further in than this one here. So, but that's okay, because I like to have kind of a big notch. Makes a lot of the ash fall in there and, you know, consolidate to a coal easier. So, let's get a coal. Now, a little technique I learned, especially being out in the desert here, is when your drill starts to glaze over a bit, or just not seem to be gripping that well, take a little pinch of sand, sprinkle it into that hole. It acts like sandpaper and it gets all that crap out. So, here we go. A little piece of wood here I used to catch the coal. And got my tinder. Gonna rip off a little piece here for the coal to catch on. Yeah, almost did the like this, and yeah, hand moisture, that's going to really work very well for catching a coal. You notice how I'm picking up the pace a little bit now. It's hard for me to use the full finger method because I'm double jointed in my hand. My fingers have a tendency to curl backwards. Okay, believe I got something. You think? Oh, that's a negative, Ghost Rider. I think the notch may have been too big. Well, that's why we have a spare notch. Let's go with that. And yes, this will wear you out. Sun gold. And dogs like to get in the way. Yes, I know. It's okay. Sun gold, go on. Go on. Come on. There you go. Good girl. Let's try this again. There we go. Better smoke. There we go. This time it worked. Catch my breath. There it is. Got a coal. Let's blow it into flames. There we go. There we have it. Fire. Woo! Hot, hot, hot. So, let's see what I did wrong here, right? You can see the difference right here. I carved the notch in too deep. Right here, went right to the edge. Got a coal, as easy as you can see. So, with that said, the advantages of the hand drill is, well, it's pretty much you don't need any tools. You don't need any knife, blade or anything with it. You just use a rock. Find a piece of mullein, sage, yucca, see here, cattail, I've seen people use. Yeah, but we have pieces of wood that passes the thumbnail test, and you have yourself a stick like the stick drill. It could be even from a wand of willow. cedar, basically anything that is relatively straight. But the advantage of that is, especially in an arid climate like the desert, it works very, very well. In the rainforest, no, not so much. But, and the other disadvantage about that is it takes a lot of practice. You can't just expect to jump on it if you've never done it before and expect to get a coal. It takes practice, lots of practice. So, there you have it. That's one of the ways I make fire with the hand drill. Next up is I'm going to demonstrate the bow drill. Catch you later.